everybody, Mike Iaconelli back out here in the shop with another great one for you today. And I get the question all the time about what is the easiest knot to use to tie on your lures. What are the easiest knots to use for fishing? Well, today we're going to be talking about the easiest knots of all time. And I'm going to give you two. I'm going to give you a knot to use for fluorocarbon and mono, and I'm going to give you a second knot to use for braid or superline. And each of them, in my opinion, are the easiest knots of all time, and they are the most dependable. They're strong, they're abrasion resistant, I have very few break-offs, they're easy to tie. So without further ado, let's talk about these easy knots, okay? So for this demonstration out here in the shop, instead of using actual line and lures, we're going to use this really bright rope and this giant silver eyelet here, which will represent the eyelet of your bait, your lure. Hard bait, soft bait, crankbait, spinner bait, chatter bait, hook, okay? So this is going to be our line. That's going to be the eyelet of our lure or the bait we're tying to. And I want to start with the easiest knot of all time for fluorocarbon and or mono, right? Fluoro or mono. Fluoro or mono, they have a little stretch. It's a different type of material. Fluoro and mono has a slightly higher burn rate when you cinch the knot down than braid does. And without a doubt, the most secure, safest, strongest, easiest knot for mono and fluorocarbon is the improved clinch knot. Improved clinch knot. And we're going to show you how easy this knot is. So once again, improved clinch. This is the knot you're going to use for fluorocarbon or mono. And here it goes. That's the eyelet of your bait or lure. And we're going to go in with our fluoro or mono, and we're going to create a tag end that's going to be anywhere from 8 to 10 inches, right? 8 to 10 inches long. That's a good amount of line to allow you to tie this knot, okay? So we just went right in the eyelet, just once through, real easy, okay? Pull out our 8 to 10 inches, and we're going to begin a wrap of this tag end around your main line, right? Here's your main line going to your rod, your reel. This is our tag end, 8 to 10 inches. We're going to begin a loop from the tag around the main line 6 to 8 times, okay? Here it goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay? A general rule is the lighter this line, the more wraps. I want to lean more toward that 8 number. The heavier the line, if you're using real heavy fluoro or mono, you can get away with a few less, right? Go to the 6. Okay, so 6 to 8 times, we're going to wrap that tag around the main line. All right, when we did that, look down here at the eyelet of your lure. Look at the eyelet of your bait. You're going to see, what do you see down there? You're going to see a loop, an open loop, right? We're going to take this tag and we're going to go through that open loop, okay? We wrapped up 6 to 8 times. We're taking this tag, and now we're going to go through that loop. Look at that. How easy that is. That's it, right? Went through 6 to 8 times. We've created a loop at the eyelet. We're going through that loop with the tag end. And now, the last step of this knot, we're going to then take that tag end that's through that bottom loop. Look at that big loop that we created. And this big loop, a lot of times your index finger or middle finger or thumb is in this loop when you're wrapping. So you've got this big loop now, right? And this is what makes this clinch knot an improved clinch knot. If we were to stop right there, that's a clinch knot. But we want to make it stronger and better. We want to make it improved. So we're going to take that same tag that we went through that bottom loop, and we're going to bring it back through that big loop, okay? When we do that, immediately after we do that, I want you to wet that knot. You can dip it in the water if you're in a kayak or a canoe or in your boat. If you're bank fishing, you can dip it in the water, or the easy thing to do is just wet it, right? I just get it between my lips. I really wet that thing down. And that way, when we begin this cinch down, because it's moist, it's not going to burn, right? We're not going to have that real heavy burn that we have. Cinch that moistened knot down all the way, really pull on it. And when you do that, look at how tight and secure that knot is for fluorocarbon and mono. The last step of this knot is we're going to get our scissors and we're going to trim that tag end. And I don't like to trim it flush to the knot. I like to leave maybe a 1/16 of an inch of that cut portion remaining out. One last time before I start fishing with this lure, I strength test it. And 99.9% of the time when you tie it, the first time you tie it right. That is the improved clinch knot. The easiest knot, in my opinion, to tie for fluorocarbon and mono, and it has the highest strength performance rate of any knot out there, okay? So mono or fluorocarbon, improved clinch, great knot, easy, love it. All right, let's cut this one off real quick. Cut this off. I'm going to show you how hard of a knot this is. Look, I can barely... Look, I'm getting a scissors and trying to cut it, and look how hard it was to get it off. But I was able to cut it. All right, now we're going to switch to the easiest, strongest, best performing knot I've ever tied for braided line, super line, right? Spider wire, Berkeley braid, whatever brand you're using, braided line. And braided line is different than mono or fluorocarbon. It's a different material. Zero stretch, super slick, right? So because braid superline is a different material, we're going to use a different knot for this one. And the easiest knot of all times to tie your lure bait on when you're using braid is the Palomar knot. The Palomar knot. And if you thought the improved clinch knot was easy, wait till you see the Palomar. And once again, okay, this big giant eyelet is going to be, this is representation of our lure, right? This is the eyelet of our flipping hook, of our frog, of our swim jig, of our topwater, right? That's our split ring. That's the connection point. And this is going to be a representation of our braid. 20, 30, 40, 50, 65, 80, whatever size braid you're using, okay? And this one's going to be called the Palomar knot. Okay, first thing we're going to do, we're going to take our braid and we're going to double it. We're going to double it. And give yourself a nice long working lead here, right? I'm going to say 10 to 12 inches, 10 to 14 inches. Give yourself a nice long working tag end and double it. Look at that. That line's just paralleling itself. It's just doubled. And when we do that, look at that. There's the line side by side. When we do that, we've created a little point where that braid is doubled. When we do that, we're going to go through that eyelet. Okay? Look at that. We're through the eyelet of our lure, our bait, with the braid doubled on itself, paralleling, laying parallel on itself. After we do that, you ready for this? This is how easy it is. We're going to make an overhand knot. That's it. knot. You learned that in the 2nd grade when you learned to tie your shoes. We're going to do a simple, and here it goes, ready? A simple overhand knot. That's it, okay? There's our overhand knot. There's the line doubled on itself, okay? And you see, there's our area where we're going to either cinch it down, but we're going to wait. All right, so just one simple overhand knot with the braid doubled on itself. But before I cinch it down, step number 2, this is how easy the Palomar knot is. You ready? That loop that we have right there, you see that big loop? We're going to pull that lure through. We're going to pull that lure through that loop. We're pulling it right through that big loop. When we do that, ready for this? Look, we're going to cinch it down. Just like the improved clinch knot, even though it's braid, before we cinch it down, I want you to wet it in the water or wet it with your mouth, and we're going to start cinching this knot down. Cinch it down as tight as you can get it. When I'm doing this with braid, I like to pull on both ends. And now we have a knot, we have a Palomar knot on braid, Superline, that is strong, abrasion resistant, tight. And here's the thing, you ready? Because braid is slick, this line will not slip on itself. It will not slip on itself. Think of how easy that knot is. It had 2 steps to it. That was it. Parallel the line on itself, 10 to 14 inches. Bring it through the eyelet. Make a simple overhand knot, like tying your shoe. With that tag end loop, bring the lure back through that loop and cinch it down. Wet it and cinch it down. All right? One last step on the Palomar knot, just like the improved clinch. Let's trim our tag end. Same thing. Let's leave a little nubby there, about a 1/16 of an inch little nubby we're going to leave there. That's the Palomar knot. By far the easiest knot for braid, the strongest, most dependable knot for braid that you could tie. I love that knot for fishing braided line. Man, I hope you enjoyed this in the shop. This was sort of a basic one, but lots of questions about the easiest knot to tie for different line types. And there you have it. Listen to me real quick. Stop for a second. If you like what you're hearing here in these shops, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Look at it. It's right down there. It's flashing. Hit that subscribe button. Become a subscriber to my channel. We're going to get you great content every week. If you're already subscribed, do me a favor. Tell your fishing friends, tell your fishing buddies about this channel, Mike Iaconelli Fishing on YouTube. We're going to be instructing and teaching, giving tips and secrets every single week. Hope you enjoyed it. Tie one of those 2 knots. You're not going to break them off. You're going to land those fish. Good luck, good fishing. Bye.